Chosen ones. There's a phase nobody warns you about. It's the phase where you stop talking. And it's not because you're lost. It's not because you gave up. It's not because you finally realized something. It's none of that. You stop talking for a different reason. You stop talking for reasons that most people misunderstand. See, as a chosen one, if you've been following this series, you know the path that you're on. You know the chosen path. And see, what happens is you stop talking because you realize that every time you explain yourself, right? Every time you explain your plans, you just leak energy, right? You're talking about all the things you're gonna do. You're telling everybody about your goals and your visions and your dreams, and your ideas and the things you're learning and the things you're testing and the businesses you're building, right? No. There comes a time when you stop talking, right? Every time you announce your moves, you realize people have opinions, right? And most people don't support you. Most people don't understand you. They don't have the vision, right? They'll support you when it's successful. But in the beginning stage, chosen one, they're going to doubt you. They're going to question you. They're going to make it seem like what you're doing is impossible, right? Like it's weird. They're going to make you question yourself. And so when you're on the chosen path, you'll realize that if you listen to too many opinions, there goes my light right here. If you listen to too many opinions, it'll destroy your destiny. Like you'll literally listen to what other people say more than what you say, right? You'll listen to the voice and the opinions of other people more than you listen to yourself. And that is something that obviously as a chosen one, you may have happened to experience in the past, but moving forward, you won't experience because you're growing, you're ascending, you're evolving. And so that's why you're going quiet. It's because you realize that every time you talked about what you had going on, every time you shared your excitement, right? Every time you went to people to try to get them involved with you and grow with you and build with you, they just hit you with all of their opinions. Most of which were just non-supportive, right? Most of which were not in alignment with what you were expecting or wanting them to say or how you wanted them to respond, right? People just have all type of shit to say to you, and it's just like, okay, well, there's no point in even telling people, right? You get to that realization. It's almost like a eureka, right? It's almost like aha. It's like, okay, I'm not even going to tell people, right? Because you're going to get to a point where your results and your lifestyle speaks for itself, right? And there's a season where nothing looks impressive from the outside. That's the key thing right here. It's like you realize that you might as well not even talk about the things you're doing, the vision that you're working towards, because it's not there yet, right? It's not here yet. You can't prove it. There's no evidence. There's no physical, tangible, right? Like momentum heavily being built. They can see, and hear your ideas, and they get the idea to an extent. But as far as you really like starting that business, seeing it all the way through, having a bunch of customers, having a bunch of views, getting a bunch of money, having the love life, like all of the things that you dream about, right? Being in shape, getting rid of the vices, just spreading positivity, connecting, traveling, whatever you want to do, right? As you're working towards like making that happen for yourself, some of it's boring. That process of becoming, right, the identity gap, some of that is just routine, some of it's tedious, it's meticulous, it's mundane, it's repetitive, right? And so a lot of times it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's not like ooh ah, it's not like oh my god, that's so amazing, right? Like you're up all day, up all night, just building up behind a screen and studying and reading. Like there's nothing to really brag about there, right? There's no kudos, right? So you'll realize that while you're building, you're better off quiet, right? Because I mean, let's face it, in the beginning you have no wins. You have no wins in the beginning to post, right? I remember thinking like, okay, well, what am I going to do if, I don't have all of the things I wanted in my life and I'm trying to help people get the things that they want in their life? I remember having that moment. And so before I started acting like I could, help people, I started working on myself, right? Because people would look at me like, this is early 20s. This is like 10 years ago, right? Literally over 10 years ago. But the point was like, man, I was just so ready to change the world and change people and help people, but I was just so ambitious, so overzealous, right? I still had so much work to do on myself, right? And so even though I had the right intentions, I didn't have any real experience. I didn't really have any wins to post, right? So I started working on myself, right? In that beginning stage is tough though because there's no proof to flex, right? There's just repetition, discipline, patience. Repetition, discipline, patience. Like you're just doing the same thing every day, every day, every day, building this sort of snowball where eventually it just boom goes on the hill and you're just like, whoa, like this is actually working. This is huge. Like I'm doing something right now. I'm becoming somebody right now. But that beginning stage shows the one, you'll get to that moment where it's like, I gotta stop talking about it. I gotta stop telling people because they don't get you, bro. They're really not like you. So the twin sisters, family, listen, they're not like you. A lot of these people, and you know this. We already know this. And so the truth is, why would we even try to relate to these people? Why do we even try to express, right? When you know damn well, like, come on, like straight up, right? Like they're not thinking about the shit that you think about. They're not tapped in like you're tapped in. They're really not. They're on some NPC traditional bot behavior. You know this. The people around you, the majority of them are just low vibrational. They're sheep. You're a chosen one. You're super sensitive. You're super conscious, right? And so you realize, like, instead of trying to share yourself and your ideas with people, because they think you're crazy, right? These people are like, they don't even understand what you're talking about half the time, right? And so that's where most people fold. This is where most people fold because they're not getting the validation, right? They're not getting the approval. They're not getting the permission. They're not getting the acceptance from other people. And so they'll fold right there, like boom, like they conform. They go back to the old ways, back into the mainstream, back into the world, back into the 3D avatar, back into the matrix. Instead of betting on themselves, betting on their vision, betting on their intuition, betting on the higher powers. So I just want you to understand that a lot of people quit because they want validation too soon. They want instant gratification too soon, like too soon. You think like people think that just because they did something for a week or a month, 3 months, right? Like even a year, they think that just because they did something for that long that they deserve everything. Like there's people out here who are putting in time, 10,000 hours, years. You know what I'm saying? Putting in lots of sweat, equity, not getting paid on the front end. Physically, the results. They're showing up to the gym. They're shedding weight 1 pound at a time. Or they're building muscle. 1 pound at a time. Or they're cutting vices. One at a time. Or they're putting themselves into situations that are better than where they've been one at a time. But understand that it takes time. Like this is not an overnight process, and so many people quit because they just don't have the patience. They quit too soon. They need the validation. They need the confirmation. They need the gratification right now. They want things to just happen right now. We live in a world where they have no attention. People have an attention span of a goldfish, and so that's just what it is. They need witnesses before they have results. Like they want people to like acknowledge them, but they're not even doing anything that's worthy of acknowledging. You understand? So it's like it's confusing. It's backwards. It's literally fucking twisted. Like you can't expect people to praise you, give you recognition, celebrate you if you're not doing anything. If you haven't helped, if you haven't added value, if you haven't contributed, if you're not building something worth mentioning, right? Worth any prestige. I mean, everybody's got ideas, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people have ideas. But what's an idea? The idea is just the seed. But it's the ones who know how to nourish the seed, the ones who know how to plant it, grow it, right? How to harvest it. Those are the ones, right, who turn the seed into something magnificent that can multiply the abundance again and again and again, right? The seed, it grows by removing the weeds, the negativity, right? All the stuff like that. You plant it properly with the soil, right? You got the right environment, you got the water, the sun, the right ideas, the right elements, etc. Right? This is like your mind. This is like your life. You plant seeds. The ones who plant seeds and know how to nurture it, just like God says, they're abundant. They multiply. They're fruitful. Right? Look at fruit. Look at fruit. Look at any fruit. It has seeds. Why? Because as soon as it's done, you can take the seed and then plant it and then reproduce multiple, like many. It's actually kind of crazy. Like one seed. Think about it. One apple tree. One apple tree came from one seed. So one seed or an acorn. Pick your favorite fruit, whatever, right? It could be a bush. It doesn't even matter. The point is, you have one seed and you planted it, and it turned into multiple. Right? The apple tree, one seed. Apple tree, multiple branches, multiple apples, multiple seeds. And it continues. The point I'm making is that a lot of times in the beginning, a lot of people don't have that abundance mindset because they're so stuck in scarcity and they're not getting the instant gratification, right? They're not getting paid. They're not getting results. They're not seeing their body change. They're not feeling the difference. They're not seeing the environment. They're just not seeing things soon enough, so they quit. And that's why they stay average. Yeah. See, silence sharpens intuition. Silence builds restraint. And silence trains you to move without permission. When you're just to yourself, you're not hearing the noise anymore. You're not bending and folding and conforming. You're sticking to your roots, like the tree, right? You're building these roots. You're 10 toes down, standing on 10 toes, standing on business, right? This silence that you're experiencing, this quiet phase, right? It trains you how to just do things without having to ask somebody, oh, can I do it? Is this a good idea? Should I do it? You just do it. Between you and God, you just do it, or you don't do it. But you're no longer getting vetted from other people. You're no longer asking what so and so down the street and up the road has to say about your vision and your dreams. They don't. What the fuck? They don't. Why would you, right? And so you have that epiphany where it's like, okay, this is just literally between me and the universe right now. And when you stop talking, you start listening. 1 second. Let that sink in. Write that down. When you stop talking, you start listening. That was a bar. Write that down. By the way, if you're tired of guessing your way through life and you want to be guided one-on-one, there is a link in the description. You can book a chosen one breakthrough session with me. We'll see if you're a good fit for either one of my mentorship programs. We've got I've got two programs. They're both filling up. You know, we've got so much going on this end. Authority Accelerator program and the Westbrook Method. Either way, I'll help you out. It just depends on where you're at and what your goals are, okay? Link in the description. But yeah, when you stop talking, you start listening, and you can start to really hear like patterns, right? You can start to listen and see patterns. You can start to understand better, right? The mistakes, right? You just get a better like pan on life. You get a better scope, right? You really just get a better idea of who you are. You really get to learn who you are deeper at the core. Like you just spend time by yourself, and you really just learn yourself because you're forced to just listen to yourself. Like you're forced to just sit there with your thoughts, which can be, unsettling, discomforting sometimes. But once you get through that phase where you realize that you are not your thoughts, you're just observing your thoughts, you can selectively assume which thoughts you want to approve and accept into your subconscious mind because why? You have the ability to accept and reject information at every given moment. Understand this, twin. Right? Once you get to this level of self-mastery, self-auto-suggestion, once you really have full power over your mind, you can do anything. Right? And you understand that the silence is power. And that's where the real wealth is built.